Thank God she lost. This wasn't difficult to predict, and while I hate that people are still wasting their time voting for change, and I hate that ass clown Trump is back in office, I wanted to discuss why Kamala Harris lost. First off, let's get one thing straight. Kamala Harris didn't lose because Kamala Harris wasn't the one trying to win. The wealthy men and women who selected her to be one of their political employees, they're the ones that lost. So I'm going to be referring to the wealthy a lot. Harris was just a character they hired to play the role of a politician. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the loss. Before I go into it further, I kind of want to just briefly go over this, right, about voting. So when a citizen votes, they should normally be voting because their interests or their needs are being discussed by the person they're voting for. You should only vote if you're going to get something out of it. That's what the system is supposed to be put in place for, right? But unfortunately, people don't vote that way. We've been conditioned to vote like this is a game or a sporting event, and we're supporting our team. And since the voters have been voting that way, the wealthy who control our government, they don't need to waste time having their political employees lie about what they're going to do for the voters. So now the candidates just talk about how bad the other side is and don't waste time talking about actual policies. The wealthy think the masses are stupid, and they're right for the most part. But they made one major miscalculation this time. Black men. This is the reason why the wealthy spend so much time, money, and effort trying to destroy the image of black men, suppressing our real thinkers, and only giving platforms to pathetic fools, charlatans, and degenerates. They know that we will lead our people the right way. And once the rest of the world sees us, they'll follow suit. The wealthy don't want that to happen, and that's why they work overtime to assassinate black men like Martin Luther King, while also working to platform, push, and promote degenerates like Puff Daddy. They want to present the world with a degenerate image of the black man, present the world with their view of what they feel a black man should be, because they don't want black men challenging the things that they do. But every once in a while, you'll run into a situation like this, where our greatness shines so bright that people can't help but see it and pay attention. In this election cycle, the wealthy decided that since they're not going to do anything for the citizens anyway, they don't need to waste time and energy lying about helping Americans. They only needed to do what they successfully did in 2008. Cast a non-white person as their political puppet, and then work to convince the country that this non-white person will do what's in everyone's best interests. They also figured that since they've been flooding the world with their woman empowerment message, that they'll get a puppet that needs to have a vagina. So they selected Kamala Harris and presented her to us as the candidate for the Democrats. They presented her as a black and thought that if they can get black people pushing this person, then others would follow and fall in line. But they already tried that with Obama. Black men, we paid attention back then and we remembered. We already caught on to the game and weren't falling for it this time. So we weren't playing along. But there was another problem that the wealthy had. Black men were angry now and we wanted revenge. So we all know that as a community, we've been fighting for reparations for decades. And the wealthy, mostly if not all white, they want to make sure that they can take as much of our tax dollars and use them for themselves. And they've been working very hard to make sure that us blacks don't get what we're owed. They suppress our images. They suppress our platforms. They work to financially back and platform anyone who opposes us. And black people foolishly kept participating in the voting process, hoping that this would help our fight for reparations. And once again, we saw in real time how the political system not only didn't do anything to help us, but it went out of its way to disrespect us. We voted and helped put Biden in office and gave the Democrats majority control in 2021. We hoped that would do something to help us reach our goal. And for almost 4 years, we watched as Democrats ignored us once again and prioritized almost every other group, even other foreign governments and non-citizens who don't pay taxes and didn't even vote. They were given priority over us. We watched as the Democrats who said there's no money for reparations found money for everything else, from supporting illegal immigrants to funding the murder of babies overseas. So giving reparations, which would revitalize the black community and also stimulate the American economy, well, that couldn't be done. But taking our tax dollars and sending it overseas without our permission is okay? Let's put this in more context. We have paying our money into the system. We tell the government, look, we're going to cooperate and go along and dutifully pay our taxes and pump the little bit of money that we have into the system. At a certain point, though, we're going to need a percentage of that back, because for decades to centuries, we have been put through some horrific things. Even after slavery was over, we were kind of forced into this box and we were held back financially. Certain programs and systematic processes were put in place to destabilize us and to destroy us. And we need to break free of that. So we're going to need a percentage of that money back. The politician said, no, not only are we not going to help you out financially after we've worked to devastate you for centuries financially, we're going to take the money that you pay in taxes. So we're going to take your money and we're going to use that money for ourselves and for other people. Well, we saw this and we became very angry. But something even bigger than that happened. So all this time, the wealthy have been lying and telling black people that if you want any real change, you got to take part in the political system. So you got to vote. You have to, work to set up committees. Studies have to be done. You want things like reparations, you got to have committees and studies, and bills have to be passed. So you have to work internally. You got to use the system. Black people finally said, all right, you know what? We're going to try the system. California was an example of this. We tried the system. We had a committee. We worked with the governor to try to make sure that we got a study done. We had meetings, task force rallies. Everybody came together to discuss what needed to be done. Tax dollars were being used to fund these studies and these rallies, which means the people holding these studies and these rallies and these meetings, they were getting paid. So we were working the system the way that they told us to. When it finally got to the end of the process, these people who we were paying to do the study and to help get the bill written and to help get the bill pushed, not only did they not send the bill over to the governor, they just squashed and killed the bill. And they didn't give any legitimate reason why. After a while, we understood and figured out the reason. The white governor, Gavin Newsom, told these people, well, destroy the bill because I was never going to sign the bill anyway. I'm never planning on giving reparations to these black people. So just destroy the bill. I don't want any flack. I don't want any people coming after me. You guys are going to need to take the brunt of the responsibility, but don't worry. We'll make sure you're taken care of financially. So these people went behind our backs. After wasting our time, making us waste our energy, they went behind our backs. They took our money, paid it to these people, and paid it to these people so that they can purposely sabotage our movement. After that, I don't know about black women, but black men said, no, that's it. We're going to punish you. Now, we haven't punished them the way that I want, but a punishment was a-coming. Also, you had another thing that I don't think people are really discussing, or they're suppressing the people that are discussing it this way. Black society, black men and women know that we need reparations. Black men know that, look, we're responsible for our people and we're working to take care of ourselves, but we have been held back so much that we're so far behind everyone else that debt we're calling in the debt now because we're going to need the funds from that debt to get everybody up to speed, because you guys have held us back and used us as a stepping stool to make yourselves wealthier. So you owe us for that, and you got to pay that back. And we need that money. Bills due. White society, the political system, the wealthy, they've all come around and said, no, there's never any money. We will never, ever have the money. The idea of coming up with the money needed to pay anything to black people is so outrageous, I don't even know why you guys keep bringing it up. It's impossible. We'll never find the money. Never. All right, so you'll never have the money. It's impossible. Well, we know that's a lie because there's all this money going out to all these different groups. They're using money to kill children in other countries. So, and the money's just, they just find the money whenever they need it. And we've known that for a long time. But then again, we watched in real time as this specific party that's telling us we have to vote for them if we want things done for ourselves, this specific party who's also told us we will never ever have the money. All sorts of different candidates told us that they won't have the money. From people who we thought were progressive, like Bernie Sanders, who said, oh, it's not feasible, to criminal animals like Kamala Harris, who told us, I'm not going to do nothing just for you. Constantly telling us we don't have the money. But we watched in real time as Harris raised over $1 billion. Where'd that money come from? You're telling us you can't do anything for us. You won't do anything for us. You won't do the thing that we need. You won't pay this debt that's owed because you don't have the money. You don't know where the money's coming from. You'll never know where it's coming from. But she raised over $1 billion. We watched as millions upon millions of dollars were paid out to celebrities so that they could have concerts and shows at these supposed Democrat conventions. We watched them hemorrhage money. If you're trying to get our vote, well, why don't you have a rally and raise money and then you say, look, we've raised this amount of money. I'm not able to campaign now because I'm going to use this bucket of money and I'm going to break it up and give it out to the black Americans who are owed this debt. Or at least give a percentage of it out. We're watching all of this money from the wealthy just flow in. We don't know where it went, what it was used for, but we know all this money has come in and you're sitting there... It's madness. We're watching the candidate in real time tell us we don't have the money, we will never have the money. And at the same time, while those words are coming out of her mouth, she's being handed money that she's using for herself. Why would we vote for you? Are you daft? Are you insane? We're telling you. As a voting bloc, you want our vote? This is what we want and need. This debt has to be paid. Money has to be paid. And you're telling us, I will never have the money. We can't get the money anywhere. Whilst you're collecting money and spending it on nonsense. You gave money to Beyonce. For what? All that money was wasted and thrown in the garbage because you didn't win. All that money that you could have used to try to sway this voting bloc, I don't know what you did with it. Whatever you did with it, you wasted it. Because all that money that came in, all those concerts, those rallies, those events, those commercials, all that money is being circulated amongst the wealthy. So the money exists. You can get the money if you work at it, but you're not going to work at it. Black men know that. You've spat in our face so many times in the past, and now you're doing it in the middle of your rally, in the middle of your fight, your campaign to try to get our votes. You're doing it right in our face, taking in all of this money from who knows where and burning it, just giving it to other wealthy people. How much money did you spend on Cardi B? Someone who's admitted to be a criminal. You take the money that you could have used to try to sway black people to come in and vote for you, and you just blow it. We're tired of seeing that stuff, and it's revenge time. And we're going to get revenge by making sure that people like you don't get into office. Now, with that being said, I want to say to all the people out there, Donald Trump is now going to be sworn in as president again. So Kamala lost. Now what? What are we going to do now, black people? Now we have a racist ass clown who's going to be president. Fine, we want to punish the Democrats. I'm with it. Let's do it. What about the Republicans? We're not going to punish them. So what do we do now? What happens next? What's the next step? Now we have this cocksucking ass clown in office. What are we going to do now? We still don't have our reparations. We still don't have any changes or modifications needed for us. Maybe some things will happen to reverse what's been happening the last 3.5 to 4 years. I don't know. But we need to come up with a plan. Having Trump in office, I honestly believe, and remember this in about 10, 15 years when it comes out. I mean, I don't know if it's going to come out, and I don't know if this is the case, but I believe. What I honestly believe is that most of this was a performance. I think that Donald Trump was talking about running. The wealthy worked to put him in as much debt as possible so that they can make sure they have some kind of stranglehold on him. They have some sort of leverage and pull to kind of get him to work with them, which he would have worked with them anyway, but to get him to work with them on their level, the way that they want and need. So they put this guy in as much debt as possible. Then I think they decided, you know what? The public is getting a little antsy because, most people have figured out that these elections are a joke and that it's a game and that the wealthy control everything. So we got to do something to kind of trick the people. And again, I've told you in the past, they don't have long-term plans. They always have these short-term plans. So it's a short-term plan just to kind of convince people once again that, you do have some sort of control. You elect the people that you want. And so I think that, they worked with Trump. I think these assassination attempts were, I believe, I don't know, I don't know this stuff. I'm just what I believe. I believe a lot of these were faked or staged. I believe they're trying to make Trump look like a hero to a lot of people. Kamala Harris, they kind of knew that she wasn't going to win, so they were really hedging their bets on Trump winning. They kind of knew Kamala's not going to win. Let's just work with Trump. As you saw, there were no other serious Democratic candidates, not even serious Republican candidates, and that had been. It wasn't like they narrowed it down towards the end. No, it was Biden and Trump from the beginning. That was really it. Any other candidates were kind of small fry. You didn't really hear much about them. They weren't being plastered all over the news the way that we saw in 2019, 2020. You didn't see as many candidates because they were deciding on Trump and Biden. They wanted Biden in as their puppet. Once they realized, well, this guy is I don't know, his mind is turning to jelly. I think they switched over to Trump. They just threw Kamala in to keep this fraud going, and also as a way to show the masses, especially the white masses, who are really getting annoyed with the way things are going with their lives, to get the white masses to think, oh, we have a choice and we can pick candidates and our candidates have a chance of winning. I literally think this was all a production to kind of convince people that, yes, you do have a choice. You see, the wealthy were behind the Democrats and you guys beat the Democrats and you put your politician, Donald Trump, in office. When in reality, Donald Trump is their boy. They got their hands on him. Again, Donald Trump has always been a businessman, and this was always about getting into a position of power to enrich himself. Because as I've told you in the past, politicians know that if I become a politician, I can make bank because I work directly for the wealthy, because the wealthy are going to pay me a lot of money to do the things that they want. So I will be their employee, and I work directly for them. Donald Trump always knew that. All politicians know that. They don't get into office to help you. They get in office because they know how lucrative of a job it is. Donald Trump knew that, and that's why Donald Trump became a politician. So he was always going to work with the wealthy to do what they want and collect money for it. But because Donald Trump does have some clout, he has some notoriety, and he has access to money of his own, he wasn't going to serve the wealthy the way most other politicians serve them. Because, again, he has a bit of money on his own. So he can kind of do things a little bit the way he wants. The types of deals, he can make deals with the wealthy. Do this for me and I want this. Other politicians like Biden, Harris, Obama, Clinton, Reagan, the Bush family, those politicians, they can't make deals with the wealthy. They can't say, hey, you want this done? Well, do this for me and I'll do this for you. They don't make deals. The wealthy just tell them, this is what we're offering you and we want you to do this for us. And they say, okay. Donald Trump was different. He could make deals. He's in a position to make deals where they can't just come to him and say, do this for us and we'll give you this. He can push back and say, I don't need that. So I'm going to negotiate more. I'll do this for you, but I want this. And they have to make a deal and sit down at the table with him and make a deal. They don't want that. So that's why you saw all of these judgments being passed down against him being put into millions and millions of dollars of debt. That way, they can now come to him and say, well, you kind of don't really have a choice. Do this for us and we'll take care of you. And you don't really have the leverage to say, no, I want it done this way. Because you got to pay off these debts. So Trump has always been a businessman who's going to do what's for him. But I think now, after all those judgments were put in, there was a chance he may go to prison. They have a lot of stuff to tie around his neck. So at this point, they can treat him similarly to the way, not the exact same way, but similarly to the way they treat all other politicians. They just tell you, I'll take care of this for you and you do this for me. They don't have to make as many deals with him. So that's what they put in place. Now they know, well, we can control this guy a little bit more. They decided, we're gonna back this guy, and we'll throw a distraction out to the people. It's gonna be this stupid woman, Harris. We're gonna make her look like, well, we're not gonna make her look like a fool. She is a fool, and she'll make herself look like a fool. She's not gonna win, and we expect that. And they knew that was gonna happen. So you may see Trump talking a lot of talk. There may be little things that he puts in place that he and the wealthy know can just be reversed in a year or a couple years or a few years. So he may push things and you'd be like, oh, wow, he's fighting for the people. But the wealthy know, well, we can just reverse that. When the next politician comes in, we'll give this concession to these people now to kind of calm them down and to distract them. But we can just reverse it when the next politician comes in. Because after this, Trump can't run again. So once the next politician comes in that we control 100%, it'll be a little easy. We can just reverse it. And Trump will know that too. They'll probably have these talks like, look, push this for these people. This is what they want. And, go out there and make a show of it. And, we'll deal with it when the time comes. We'll deal with it later. So you may see Trump doing little things that you think are beneficial for you or that are beneficial for you, but they won't be long lasting. Trump may talk a lot of talk, but probably won't get most of the stuff that he's saying he's going to get done. Or he'll get like a small portion of it done and it's not really going to affect you or I or help us in any way. And that's because they work to put Trump in because he is there to serve as I don't even know what the word to say. He's there to kind of make people think, yes, you know what? We still do have a choice. We can still vote for our choice when you can't vote for your choice. And the reason I'm saying all that is black people, now that this guy's in office, you're not going to get anything done. We're still not going to get the things that we need done. We still need to come up with a plan that we still have to fight in order to get the things that we want and need. And that fight has to be, everybody that's watched my videos in the past knows what I'm going to say next, that fight has to be withdrawing our money. We have to stop shopping. That still has to be our main goal, is to punish the wealthy, is to get the wealthy to look at us, to understand us, to hear us, and to fear us. And we get them to do all those things by altering their money flow. We still have to do that, still has to be our goal. I know we're not anywhere near doing it. Nobody's listening. I'm still being shadow banned, but I'm still going to make these messages. We have to get these people to hear us, to know that what we're saying, and to fear us. And we do that by altering their money flow. As I've said in my other videos, voting is still a joke. It's still a waste of time. You're always going to have ass clowns like Trump running and cunt whores like Kamala Harris running. They're all puppets and actors who have been put into a position to fool you. The wealthy are still in control. The wealthy still control you. So stop financing the wealthy. If you don't like your reality, if you like your reality, just keep doing what you're doing. If there's nothing wrong with it, and you don't see any problems, then just keep doing what you're doing. But if you don't like what you're experiencing, what you're seeing, then you have to make a modification. You have to make a change. And that change is you have to alter the money flow of these wealthy people so that they look down and say, oh, well, the money stopped pouring in. Who's to blame? And once they realize that it's us, then you're going to start to hear them address us more. You saw that in this election. When you start getting people's attention, they start talking about you more. Black men were not participating in this vote and making it known that no, we're going to crash this political event. And this was before Harris. They heard us when Biden was running, and they knew that this was going to start to affect them. Then they started talking about us. It's the same thing with reparations, but reparations are a lot harder because they are these. I believe that these people will die before they try to give us some sort of measure of equality. They will literally die trying to prevent it. That's how opposed they are to making us equal to everyone else. So who knows what'll happen, but our best way of fighting back is to punish these people financially. My stop shopping message has always been, you don't just stop shopping, you have to shop to live, but alter how you shop. Stop going into these big chain stores. Stop going into the big chain restaurants, the fast food places, the big chain supermarkets, the big chain, I don't know these stores. The stores like Walmart and Macy's or Target, all these big stores, you have to stop going into these stores. You also have to talk about it. Let other people know that you're altering how you shop and this is why you're doing it, and encourage them to do it. Pull your money from the wealthy people, these wealthy men and women that own us, that own our politicians, that control our lives. These wealthy people make their money off of all of these big businesses. All of these big businesses, they invest in them. They own portions of them. They make certain financial moves based on the amount of money that these companies are making or not making. They make money off of the money flow through these big companies. So if you pull your money, if enough of us pull our money, that will affect their money. So you have to go to places that they can't invest in, places that they don't own portions and percentages of, places that don't trade publicly on the stock market. You have to go to smaller places, go to mom and pop stores, go to local restaurants that are owned by people that live in the area, go to farmers markets to buy your groceries. Try to buy as much stuff as you can online. If you need to go to a supermarket, again, go to a farmer's market, go to a bodega, go to a little Mexican supermarket, one of those Caribbean supermarkets, anything other than the big chain stores. Go to, and you know what stores I'm talking about. Don't go to Kroger, don't go to Stop and Shop, just change how you buy these things. Alter how you buy your clothes. If you have to, make the clothes yourself. Most of you aren't going to do it because we don't have the time and the skill to do that. Then buy your clothes online. Buy it from a small mom and pop owned boutique. You can buy your clothes off the internet so that you're not going into these stores. Take your money away. At least don't shop at these places as much. You got to alter something, and you have to talk about it and let other people know. Once they start to hear enough people talking about it, once they start to feel the pain in their wallets, then you will have politicians and news pundits come out and say, you know what, the black people need some sort of relief. Black people are hurting, and we got to do something to help the black people. You'll start to hear on the news more and more, black people are not shopping as much. They're pulling their money. Politicians are trying to find a reason why. And you'll start to hear more and more about our plight and our struggle. Until then, this game is going to keep happening. So I'm glad Kamala Harris lost, and I wanted to kind of go over why she lost, but the message is still there. It doesn't matter that Trump won. You know that Trump doesn't care about you. You know that Trump is a racist and a pervert and an ass clown and a failure and a loser himself. He doesn't want to help you. He didn't help us in 2018. He didn't hurt us as much as Biden and Harris have been doing, but he didn't help us, and he's not going to help us now. We have to help ourselves. And this is just one example or one way. If people have other methods, let's hear about it. I'm up for listening, but I've been seriously listening for over a decade, and I haven't heard anything other than people saying we need to pull together or something like that. You know, it's stupid stuff you hear in church. We need to pull together and be good. That's not that. Stop shopping.